Welcome back to another project. In this project, we're going to create an analog clock. As you can see from the final version of the project, we're going to create a clock with the Rolex logo that is showing the current time, the real time that we are getting from the browser. So we're going to use JavaScript to dynamically get the time from the browser and convert it to a degree form that can be shown in the clock like this. In the next section, we're going to start with the HTML part of the project. So see you in the next section. All right, let's start our project. I just leave this final version as our reference, and we create another folder and we create our project, and we just check our final version for the reference. Okay, let's open Visual Studio Code. Let's go to desktop. I open the Visual Studio Code. We close the Get Started tab, and in the file menu, we click on open folder. Let's create a new folder. I would like to create the project as always in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So I just created a new folder and I call it clock, and I select it, and here I click on select folder to select the folder. Let's close the Get Started tab again. On the left side in the Explorer section, we create a index.html file. So we just need to click here, or we can right click and click on new file. We just say index.html or HTML. Here we have this empty HTML file. But we can use an exclamation mark like this, and using Emmet, we can create our HTML boilerplate, which includes the doc type, which tells the browser what version of HTML this page is written in. And for HTML5, we just leave HTML here. Then we have HTML tag, which covers everything. And the lang attribute here sets the language of the page. And here the language as a default is English. Then we have the head tag, which has the meta tags and also the title. The meta tag, the first meta tag sets the char set attribute, and for HTML5, UTF-8 is recommended. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser, if someone is using Internet Explorer browser, tells it to use the recent rendering engine, which is Edge. Then we have the viewport meta tag, which tells the browser on how to resize the page. For example, here we set the device's width equals to the width of the screen, and we initial zoom level, we set it to be 100%. Then we have the title tag, which goes on the bar of the browser. Let's open the browser first. We see what's happening inside the browser. I'm now using a extension called Live Server. It's free to use. You just click on it here, and then it's going to open your project. And anytime you save your project, you see the change here as well. So the title here is this document. Let's bring this one on the right side and our code on the left side. Let's close this. And let's close the left side by using Ctrl B. So let's change the title to be the name of our project, which is clock. Now we can see the change inside the tab. Then if you look at the final version, as you can see, the body, the color of the body is a salmon color. Then we have a div that is covering the clock, and we call it clock. So we need to add a div here inside the body with a class of clock. And inside this, we have the numbers, which is 9, 12, 3, and 6. Then we have the arrows for the second, minute, and hour. And also we have a logo, the Rolex logo. So 3 things we need to add inside this div. So the first div is for numbers. So we add a div with the class of numbers. And inside this div, we have our numbers. So one div for example, 12. We just say 12. And here we hard code 12. So we should see in our final version now the number 12. Let's copy this one 3 more times using Alt, Shift, arrow down. 1, 2, 3. And next one is 3. This one should be 6. And the final one is 9. Okay. The next things, as you can see from the final version, is these hands. So these are just the empty div as well. So we have a div that covers all of them, and we call it arrows. And inside this div, we have one div for the hour. Then we can copy this one 2 more times using Alt-Shift-Arrow down. The second one is minute, and the last one is second. Okay. And finally, we want to add this Rolex logo. So we just can search for Rolex on the Google. Just say Rolex. Then we go to images. Let's use the tools and change the color to be transparent. And we search Rolex logo actually, because it is showing us just the watches. So the first one is from Wikipedia. We click on it. This, as you can see, this is transparent, so it doesn't have any color behind it. So we can just copy this one using. We just right click and click on copy image address. So we get the image address. We don't need this. We can close it. Let's bring this one to the right side again. And here after this div, we add an image tag, and inside the src, which is the source of the image, we paste the link that we have copied. Now we should see the Rolex image here as well. But as you can see, it's very huge. But later we're going to use CSS to style it. Just for now, we'll leave it like this. And for alternative, we just say Rolex logo. Okay. So that's it for the HTML part of the project. In the next section, we're going to start styling the project using CSS. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the HTML part of our project. In this section, we're going to start styling the project using CSS. First thing we need to do is to create a CSS file. So we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E, and we create a new file, and we call it style.css. So we have now the style.css file, but for being able to work properly, we need to add a link to this file within the HTML file. Here, inside the index.html, just after the title and at the end of the head tag, we add a link tag, and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now, we can style to our file using CSS. This is the link tag, and this is the relationship with the external relationship with the style sheet. And href is the address of this file, because it's located exactly at the same folder as index.html. We just need to write style.css here. So we go to style.css, we close this Explorer section using Ctrl-P. Then we can start. Firstly, we start from a body section. We remove the default margin and padding. So just padding 0, margin 0. You see we don't have any space now between these things and the wall. Then let's decrease the size of this logo so we can see everything better. So before continuing on the body section, let's install the image tag, and we just set the width to be 70 pixels. So that's nice now. Let's continue with the body section. I want the background color of the body section to be salmon color. Then I want the font family of our website to be cursive new, which is here. Then let's set the height to be 100% of the viewport height. So now we can bring everything to the center by just changing the display to flex. Then we set the justify content to be center. Now they come to the center in a horizontally, but for the vertically, we need to align items center. Okay. So everything is fine for the body section now, and we install the image later, but let's do the clock. This clock in the final version, this rounded with a background of gray, is actually the div with a class of clock that's covering everything. So we need to stall that one and create this square. The circle. So we just say clock, and because it's a class, we added a dot here. Then we need to give it a width and height. But before doing the width and height, let's change the background color so you can see the change. The background color is light gray. Okay, you can see it's a little square covering everything. So let's change the width to be 350 pixels, height 350 pixels as well. And let's make it rounded. Let's make it a circle using border radius 50%. Okay. We wanted to have some like a border and shadow effect as well, so it looks like a 3D. So we can just add a border, like just saying border, and let's make the width of the border to be 5 pixels. Then we make it solid. And this is now black, but I don't want it to be black. I just make it dark gray. Okay, looks nice. And let's add the shadow effect as well. We just say box shadow. Box shadow, 1 pixel for the horizontal shadow, 1 pixel for the vertical shadow, and 4 pixel for the blur radius. You can see it now, but the shadow is completely dark. I don't want it to be dark. I want it to be black, but with the, for example, 70% transparency. So for the black, we have 0, 0, and 0 for RGB. Then for the alpha value, we set it to be 0.7, which is 70%. Okay, that was it for the clock. Let's bring this Rolex here. We need to, in order to position this Rolex here, we need to position it absolute. But it should be absolute in relative to its parents, which is the clock. So we need to change the position of the clock to be, let's add this one at the top. We just say position relative for the clock, and we position this one absolute. Okay. Now we can position it exactly the place we want. For example, I want it to be in the center, so we just say left 50%. So this one brings the edge to the center, but I want it exactly to be in the center, so I changed the translate. It should be translate. Transform and translate. So say transform, translate, and minus 50%. This one bring it exactly in the center. And from the top, we just say top. Let's make it 60 pixels. Okay, that's fine now. And also I want it to be with a z index of 2. So we have this clock, okay, at the bottom. Then we have the Rolex, and also we have the arrows. I want the arrows to be on the top of this Rolex as well. So we change the z index of this one to be 2. So the clock is 1. Then we set the z index of the numbers. Numbers should be 2 as well because they're on the top. Then for the arrows, we make the z index 3. And for this here, for this circle in the center, we make the z index 4. So if you wait now for the seconds to go here, we see the seconds hand is going to this way on the logo. And also the hand is located under this circle. So just you can see now that's passing under. It looks like a logo is attached to the block like that. Okay, let's position the numbers first. We have for numbers, we have a div with a class of numbers, and each number has its own class. So we target them using these numbers. We just say numbers div, and we style all of them. But for positioning them, we position them separately using their own class. For example, 12 should be here, 9 here, 3 here, and 6 here. So let's do this like that. So we just target the numbers and the div they have. So we are targeting all of them together. First, we need to position them absolute in relative to the clock. The clock has a position of relative. So we position them absolute firstly. Then let's change the font size to be 27 pixels. So you can see all of them are now on top of each other, but later we're going to individually position them So just bear with me. So let's set the font weight to be bold. So we make it a little bit thicker. Then let's change the color. I just want to use light golden rod yellow. This color, it's kind of yellowish color. Okay, and also I want to add a shadow effect. So I just say text shadow and 1 pixel for the horizontal, 1 pixel for the vertical shadow, and 2 pixels for the blur radius, and the color should be RGBA. That's 70% black with a 70% transparency. Okay, that's it. And now we target each number. First, we target 12 is 12. So we just say dot 12. What did I write? So 12. Okay. So 12 should be on the top. Let's do the top 6 pixels and left to be 50%. So as I mentioned before, that one actually bring the edge to the center. So we need to do the transform, translate minus 50% to bring it exactly in the center. So 12 is finished. Let's copy this one for the, or we just type it again. That's fine. We just do the 3. 3 should be from the right to be 6 pixel. Okay, you can see it here. Then from the top to be 50%, but that is not actually 50%. So we need to add this transform translate. This translate we used here, that's actually translate X. Okay, and the image as well, translate X. But this translate for 3 is translate Y. So we just say transform translate Y minus 50%. Okay. So the other one, let's do the next one, which is 6. So 6 from the bottom is 6 pixel. Then we have left 50% and transform translate X minus 50%. Okay. And finally, we have the 9. 9 should be left 6 pixel. And then we have this should be from top 50% or bottom, doesn't matter. We just say transform translate Y minus 50%. So now we positioned all these numbers correctly. So now we just start doing the handles. So the handles are actually the hands, the clock hands. They have a div with a class of arrows, and each class, each handle has its own class, hour, minute, and second. So firstly, we apply it to all of them. We just say arrows, div, we install the common one, and then for particular one, we use their own classes. Also, for bringing them in the center, we just need to target the arrows as well. We just say arrows, or I think it was arrows. Let me check again. Yeah, arrows. Arrows, we want it to be in the center, so we just set the display to flex. And also we need to set the width to be 100% and height to be 100% as well. And for bringing it to the center, we use justify content center for bringing it to the center horizontally. And for items, align item centers, bring it to the center vertically. So we cannot see it yet because they don't have any dimensions yet. First things first, we need to position this circle. This circle, actually, there is no a specific div for this one. We can use the before pseudo class to achieve this one. We just say here, dot arrows before, and this is going to be, first we need to add a empty content. For before pseudo class, you always have to remember to add content with just empty string. Then we just add a width of 25 pixels. Let's see, we can see it. Still, we cannot see it, but let's add a height of 25 pixels as well. Then we add a background color of dark green. Yeah, now you can see because the background color was similar. So it's actually located exactly in the center because of these display flex. Then we just needed to make it circle. So we just say border radius 50%. Then we add a box shadow with 1 pixels in a horizontal, one pixel for the vertical shadow, and 2 pixels for the blur radius. And with the RGBA of 70% transparency black. Okay, looks fine now. And as I mentioned before, this Z index should be on top of everything. So the Rolex Z index was 2, the handles should be 3, and this one is the Z index 4. Okay. So after that, we need to target all the arrows. So we just say arrows, and we target their div. Let's add it width. So let's change their background color first. We can see. So background color should be white. We cannot see them yet because they don't have any dimension. So we give them a width of 7 pixels. You see a little bit movement here, but because we're going to position them, so it's going to be different. So first we position them absolute, so they come outside, so we don't bother this circle here. And let's give them a height of 120 pixels. Now we can see it. But all these three are now on top of each other, and their handles is in the center. But we want this one to be here. So we need to change the transform origin. We just say transform origin to be at the bottom center. And now we just change the, we bring it up, like we just say bottom 50%. So we bring it up 50% at the top. So, and then when we want to move it, it's going to move from its bottom center, okay? Also, you can see the handle is under the Rolex logo. So we want it to be at the top of this logo. So we change the Z index to be 3. So it's over the logo, but it's under this circle because the circle has a Z index of 4 and the Rolex has a Z index of 2. Then now, and also you just wanted this one to be a little bit sharp, you know. Let me do it. You can see, we just say border radius. The border radius, we just say 50%. 50%. You can see we have 50% at the top and 50% at the bottom, but actually I just want it to be at the here. So we make it 0 for the other parts except for these 2 sections. Okay. And let's add a box shadow as well. So it has some shadow too. So we just say box shadow. Actually, I want it exactly to be like this. So we copy that one, we paste it here. So now we see the shadow, and yeah, it looks a little bit too much for this one. We just change this 3. That's alpha value to be 3. Or maybe because they are on top of each other, it looks like this. So let's change the position of each of them. So we target the hour. We just say hour, and hour, I want it to be a smaller. So height it to be 80 pixels. And let's a little bit rotate it using transform rotate. And we just 30-degree rotate it. And we can see them. Yeah, okay, that's nice for the hour. And let's do the same things for the second. So we copy this one using Control Alt Shift arrow down. We change this hour to second. And the height for this one, we don't change it. Same height, and this one we make it 250 pixels, 250 degree. So this is for the second long one, and yeah, the height we don't need to actually have a height for this second. So, but the color, the background color, we set it to be golden rod. See. So let's check this. That's second. This is second. I don't see any change in the color. Let's so everything is working nice, but except this background color doesn't change. So yeah, it should. We just target the seconds. Let's target it like this, like arrows. Second. Yeah. Now we are targeting actually correctly. Because we want to overwrite these classes, we need to specifically target them. We do this one for this one as well. We just say arrows hour. Now the hour looks better because I want it to be smaller. So because this one didn't have transform rotate, so the transform rotate worked very nice. But for the height, because it was different from this one, we need to overwrite it. So we need to specifically apply it to this class. So it's inside the arrows. Okay. So now everything looks good for the styling. Looks like our final version. In order to the watch to work properly and be exactly like the time of our computer. So this is, as you can see, it's close to 12 like this. So that is working now exactly like my computer time. So in the next section, we're going to use JavaScript to dynamically get the information from the computer, and based on that information, we're going to change the position of these seconds, hours, and minutes, and we're going to have a proper watch that is working simultaneously with the real time of your computer. So see you in the next section for the JavaScript part of our project. All right, in the last section, we have completed the styling of our project using CSS. In this video, we're going to start using JavaScript to add functionality to our project. The things we want to do is to get the data from the browser's date and time and convert that time to the degree, for example, for the second, minute, and also the hour. First things we need to do is to create a JavaScript file. So we open the Explorer section using Ctrl B, and here on the left side on the Explorer section, we right click and we click on New File. We create a file called index.js. In order to use this file, we need to add a link to it within the HTML file. So inside the index.html, just at the end of the body tag, we add a script tag. We just say sc, and we click on the second auto suggestion, the one with the src. So the src is the destination of the file, as the file is located exactly at the same directory as the index.html. So here we just write down index.js. Now we can use JavaScript in our project, and we just need to get the elements. We want to get few elements. The first one is, we want to get the 3 elements actually, the hour, minute, and second. In order to get them, we can use a method called query selector. So we need just to create a constant, and for example, we call it hour element, and this is going to be equal document because we want to target document, all the document, and we want to use query selector. And the selector we want to use as its class, as we are targeting a div with a class, we need to add a dot here, and we just say hour. Okay, let's close this Explorer section so we have more space. Then we can copy this one 2 more times using Alt-Shift-Arrow down, and we just change this hour. You can use Ctrl-D to select both and make this one minute. This one would be second. Okay, so let's check hour, minute, second. Now we have the elements. Let's console log and show you. Just use console log. For example, let's console log our element. So you can open the console using F12. So we go to console. As you can see, we return the element with a class of hour. Okay. We want to change style this div based on the information we get from browser, the time. But we want to, because the information we get from the browser is static, we need to get that one every second so to update that information. I'll show you in a second. Let's first create a function, and we call it update clock. And let's call this function here one time. So the things we want to get is, for example, we want to get the current time or current date, as you can say, because it gives you time and date at the same time. So we get the current time, and we can get it using new date, we construct a new date, and this is going to give us an object, and it's going to be saved inside the current date. So let's console log current date, and let's open the console. Now we are getting the date and time, but it's just a string. The things that we are interested is this hour, minute, and second. We don't want the other information. So, and then, as you can see now, it's 8:36:27. If you refresh the page, it's going to be changed because each time we are requesting it. But we can use some methods. For example, we can use the two-way. We can use a set timeout or set interval to execute this function every second, for example. Let me try the set timeout. So just say set timeout. Set timeout takes in two things. First is a function. We can use the arrow function, and this is the delay that makes this function, that execute this function. As we are calling this function, we don't need to create a function. We just can just put the function's name here. So now, if we console log the time, the current date, we are getting it every second, as you can see in the console. So 13, 15, 16. So now we're getting a thing, and as I mentioned, we are interested in the time, the hour, the minute, and the second. So, for example, if you want to get the hour instead, just the hour, we can just add a method here and just call get, for example, hours. Okay. Now we just get the hour. Or if you want to get the minutes, you just say minutes, or you just say seconds, just say get seconds. Now see 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we can get all these three things. So instead of console logging, I just create a constant and I call it, for example, hour. And this is going to be current date dot get hour. This. Let's copy this one 2 more times using Alt-Shift-Arrow down. And this is going to be a minute. And this should be capital. And this is going to be seconds. Okay. Now we are getting all of them, hour, minute, and second. We can console log here, see. So we are getting the hour, the minute, and also we are getting the second. So that is okay, but our clock is analog, so we need to convert these things to a degree. The seconds, let's change the, for example, the first one, the hour to degree. So we just say const, and we just say hour degree is equal to. First, we need to, because we have 12 hours in a clock, so we need to just get this hour and divide that one to 12, and also we need to multiply that one to 360 degree because we have 360 degree in a watch. Okay, now and then in order to see it in our clock, we need to change the style of this hour. If you remember, inside the style, we were using transform, rotate 30 degree or 250 degree. For example, for hour is 30 degree now. If it's, for example, 60 degree, it should be here. Now we want to change this one dynamically using JavaScript here. So here we just say this hour element we want to change its style and the transform, because we use the transform here, and the function is rotate. So this is going to be equal, as it is dynamic, we need to use backtick to have a variable. So we just say rotate, and we can use the $sign to have the dynamic variable here. And the variable we want to use is this hour degree. And we just need to add a word dig at the end, because in the style, we use degree here, dig. Okay. Now our hour is 8, which is the current hour. Now I'm recording the video. So we need to do the same things for the minute and second. So we need to copy this one using Alt-Shift-Arrow down 2 times. And then we change this hour to minute. Then the minute is not 12, it should be 60 because we have 60 minutes in an hour. Okay, after hour, we have the second. So we just say second here, and second is 62. Okay. Now the time is working perfectly. As you can see, this is my current time in the computer, 8:44, 35, 36. Okay. The other methods I mentioned, instead of using set timeout, we can use a set interval. So let me just comment this one. And instead of calling this function here directly, we can just say set interval. And set interval is going to call the update clock. And we're going to call it every second. So this is going to work exactly the same. Okay, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. See you in the next project.